for joining me for today's episode of Jedi Chi Force training, using the ways of the Chi Force with authentic QiGong and Tai Chi training. Today we're going to be advancing you even further, and that is super exciting. If you've been joining us this far, we've been exploring a simplified Tai Chi form of using energy and movement combined. And today we're going to take it up a notch and show some of the martial art advantages employed in this soft flowing style of Tai Chi. But let's get started with a little warm up. Let's just settle into Chi Ma stance, feet about shoulder width, toes forward, knees slightly bent. We want to feel tall from the crown of the head, the arms kind of open at the side, and just take a few slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out. Either through the nose or sighing out any stress, breathing in. Breathing out, settling all the energy from the day. One more breath in fully. And out, releasing any tension and stress from the day. And bringing that into some movement with our constant bear practice. So today we're going to be focusing more on one specific movement in our Tai Chi form that's called a leisurely Tai Coat. It comes from the Sun style of Tai Chi. And because we're going to be putting a lot of emphasis on this very complex move, we're just going to be doing a few gentle warm-ups to get ready and then focusing more on this very soft but powerful form of Qi movement. But for now, just tune in with being tall and centered, with breathing from the dantian, from the lower dantian, right here at the belly, at our core. When we breathe in fully, if we're relaxed, that area will expand a little. And when we exhale, it'll come back slightly into the body. This actually is a pumping mechanism of energy, because Qi Force energy is housed in the three dantians. And when we breathe from the lower dantian, from the belly, that expansion and contraction, it actually pumps the energetic system in the body. So remember to breathe. And let go of any tension you're hanging on to. We do not want to suck in the gut. If we need to support the low back, it's much better to lift the pelvic floor than to suck in the gut, which restricts our life-giving breathing. So just a few more moments, loosening the core, letting the hands tap against us, getting these muscles activated at our center.
How do you lift the pelvic floor?
Imagine you're stopping peeing.
Okay.
There you go. That's the easiest way. Women know it as a Kegel exercise. Men sometimes don't know what that is and how to activate it. I've been told that for men, it's the same muscles as just stopping peeing as it is for women to do that. So, excellent question.
Thank you.
This also does a lot of different things in terms of energy that we simply don't have time to go into. All the complexity of what these practices impart to us in a subtle, energetic nature. But thank you for asking. Maybe in another training sequence we'll go over all that. But for now, we're just going to go smaller and softer and softer. Back to still. Now some just really gentle warm-ups. So we started with some circling from the spine. Now we're going to circle the waist with the hands on the hips, kind of like a big hula hoop, pushing out one hip, the butt, the other hip, and then the belly, with the head kind of centered in between the feet. You're doing it really ideally. Occasionally I see people doing it more like this, where the head is moving a lot, but we don't really notice the stretch in the tissues at the core when the head is moving too. When the head is still, we can feel all that subtle stretch through the center of the body. And then bring it back into center and just relax with a breath or two. And then go the other way. And notice if it feels any different. Chances are it feels slightly different, changing direction. Not only are we moving our energy in a different rotation, a different vortex, but also engaging different muscles in a slightly different way. So it will usually feel a little different. So we just feel what's going on in the body as we circle the waist. Yes?
What's different for me is the right hip in the front. I can feel the muscles are tighter there. I can't roll as fluidly.
This really simple exercise brings to mind a lot of body awareness of where tension may be that we might not experience as pain or discomfort, but just shows up as tension when we move softly. I'm glad you noticed that. And then we bring it back into center, real gentle. And if we let in tension, we just take a breath or two and release it. After circling the waist, let's circle the shoulders. We don't want them to necessarily come up and forward, but rather up and back. That helps to open up the chest, keeps the shoulders from rounding forward, which we're constantly trying to overcome from all of our work with the hands in front of the body. So here, just feel the right shoulder compared to the left, and try not to use too much effort. Sometimes I see people doing the shoulder rolls and it's like they're using every ounce of energy to make it happen. But ideally we're using as little energy as we can get away with. Just noting the differences and similarities between how the right and left shoulder are moving today, in the back, the front. And as we go smaller and smaller, we feel deeper into the shoulder structure until eventually we just spiral back into stillness where it's easier to let go. Now let's open up the neck a bit by bringing the chin on the chest and really connecting with just relaxing the muscles in the back of the neck. When I even think about that, my chin goes further down my chest. And then we'll slide it over the left collarbone. If you're viewing, it'll be to your right. And just gently look over that shoulder. Bring the chin back down on the collarbone, softly relaxing as we slide it over to the other side, looking gently out. As we go back and forth, just a couple of times, really connect with relaxing the muscles in the back of the neck and shoulder. And you'll feel how your chin does go further and further down your chest without any strain, pull, or discomfort. We open it up gently and safely.
And breathe.
Please keep breathing. Do not stop breathing in here. That would tarnish my reputation as a trainer. If you stopped breathing while training with me. Let's do one more across to the other side to get it even, and then we'll close this neck opening practice by bringing the chin back to center on the chest and then raising the head from there. It actually feels like I can stand up to a little taller after that. Let's connect with some smaller joints here. I imagine my hands are around a crystal ball, and I'm just sliding my hands over it. I'm going to get a little closer to the cameras so everyone on every platform can see how that works. We want the hands open, the palms away from each other so that the joints in the wrists actually open and don't collapse, using as little effort as we can get away with. Now, for some people, this in itself is challenging to coordinate, but you've got it easily. So bring the weight onto your left foot and then circle your right foot with me, touching the ball of the foot, but circling the knee at the same speed. So we're subtly opening up the ankle, the knee, the hip joint, and the wrist at the same time. Now, reverse direction in both hands and foot. And try to keep aware of breathing and not using more muscle than needed to create this circling effect to gently open up these extremities, these joints. Put that foot down and center the weight. If your hands lost the rotation, we get it going again. Remember, we don't want the palms to touch each other. And then shift the weight to the other foot and circle the one that you were standing on. Now, usually the first foot is the easier one to circle. As upright beings, we tend to pick the easy thing first. So if it's a little more challenging to do the second leg, that's okay. That's kind of normal. Now, reverse direction in both hands and foot. It helps, if it's really challenging, it helps to picture your knee drawing a circle in the air. And that gets the hip going around with no pressure, opening up, bringing it in, more fluid to help that hip joint and the ankle as well. And then after a few rotations, come back to center, lower the hands, shake out a little bit. Now, we're going to bring in a little bit bigger movement in a warm-up that we did in a previous session. We devoted practically our entire class to circling. And circling is a wonderful way to get chi flowing and warm up. So we do circling in a bow stance. Here with our feet shoulder width, we have Chi Ma stance, or sometimes called Wu Chi stance, or ready position. Come this way, you're not in my camera. Yes, not in that one, yeah. And then we're gonna step into a right bow stance. So for a right bow stance, turn your left toes out to your personal corner, stand on your left foot, and step straight forward with your right foot. This is called a bow stance. There's shoulder width between your feet. It's how an archer would stand with a bow and arrow. Now, here, let's just go over the movement of the lower body before we start to circle. So we shift the weight to the right foot, turn the waist to the right. As we shift the weight back to the left, we turn our waist to the left. Notice we don't go up or down. The head stays level and even. And this is quite an activation and stretch of the core muscles. But we're going to bring in some movement of our arms as well. So with the weight on the back left foot, raise your right arm like you're hugging a beach ball. Once you get settled. And then when we bring our weight to the right foot, we carry the beach ball with us. And then just let that hand float down. It scoops across the middle as we bring the weight to the left. Then the right hand rises, hugging the beach ball. And we circle out that right hand and just let it drift down as we shift weight back. Yes, keep breathing. So ideally we would inhale and then we would exhale. Breathing in, we gather energy up into our arm. Breathing out, we express it outwardly. Now let the right hand drop. Hold the beach ball in your left arm and then carry that with you back to the left. Let the left hand lower, using just the left hand now. Leave the right down, bring up the left hand, hugging that energy at your chest, pressing on chi, and then allowing it to dissipate as the hand floats down. So we inhale. When we gather energy up into this heavenly ball of chi, we exhale when we send it outward. Let's do just one more with the left hand, and then we'll do both. So bringing up the left hand, we circle back to the left, and as the left hand lowers, the right arm grabs the beach ball and carries it with us. Now we use both hands. The left arm holds the beach ball on the chest as the right hand lowers, and it comes back with us. So we breathe in and we breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out as the hands go out to the side. So we're inhaling fully into the belly and stretching the low back in the process, and then exhaling. Some people will not be able to breathe quite this slow because their respiratory systems aren't working so well at this point. And if that's you, please don't make it so you get lightheaded. Take an extra breath or two. It's more important to breathe than to sync it up with your movement. With enough practice with this slow moving, the breath will slow down as well, which helps to increase our health and longevity. So, Padawan Ray, what we do in a right bow stance should also be done
in the left bow stance.
Correct. So to close our circling, as we come back to the left foot, just let the left hand lower, both hands are down, and center the weight. Let go of any tension that built up with a few breaths. And now bring that right foot back and center back to Chi-Ma. So tell us, how do we get into a left bow stance for our circling?
Turn the right foot towards the corner of the room, 45-degree angle.
To your personal corner.
Okay.
You might be in a huge room and the corner be over there.
Okay.
So we're always referencing our personal space, our personal
No
corner.
So
Yes.
personal corner. And then take a step out towards the other, well, okay, the foot straight, okay.
Forward, yes.
And I don't feel like I'm right. Okay,
There, you got it.
okay.
Yeah. So the left foot in a left bow stance, the left foot is straight forward, and the back foot is about a 45-ish, 30-ish degree angle,
Okay.
depending on your flexibility. Good job. And we always keep our knees bent, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, get comfy in the camera. Make sure everyone can see us. Now, just to go over the lower body movement, bring the weight to the left foot now. I'm showing you my hips and waist are rotating to the left. And as we shift the weight back to the right, the hips and waist are rotating to the right. So we're really turning our waist and shifting our weight. And a lot of people will have a tendency to do this when they come forward, to lean and lose postural alignment. So we're doing it with awareness of staying tall and centered. But with the weight on the left foot, bring up the right arm, holding a beach ball. We carry it with us back to the left foot and let that hand lower. So starting first with just the right hand circling, floating up, holding that chi force energy at the chest and then releasing it. We inhale as we gather that energy in our arm and a ball at the chest. We exhale to release it out. So once more with just the right hand, breathing in, holding that space at our heart area, the middle dantian, breathing out, release. Let the right hand lower, raise the left. And as we shift back left, leave the right hand down and just circle with the left arm, going out and floating down. Keeping good posture, we bring up the left arm, keeping that roundness in our space. The shoulder is relaxed. We exhale when we release. So once more, with just left hand, we breathe in, gathering energy, feeling that chi connection at the heart or middle dantian. Exhale, release. Now both hands, right hand comes up. Left hand is kind of in front of the body as it comes with us. And they change position. Right goes down, left hugs the beach ball and carries that energy with us.
Is this all nose breathing or does it matter?
Nose breathing is best, particularly this time of year in the summer. If we breathe out through the mouth unnecessarily, we dehydrate ourselves. When it's hot, we need to retain water. And this is not necessarily a breath work exercise. It's more of natural, slow breathing. Thank you for asking. In this way, when we're breathing in that Dantian breath from the belly and having this big rotation in our waist, we're actually massaging the organs, the low back muscles from the inside out. So let's do just one more back on to the right foot, and then let the hands lower, center the weight, and then relax any tension that came in, and step back with the left foot and adjust. If you need to, shake out, wipe the sweat from your brow from all of the energy flowing. And now, before we begin in our lesson for leisurely time code, do you have any questions over the first part of our simplified Tai Chi form that we've been training in?
No.
Excellent. So far, you've basically trained on your own using the YouTube videos from Beachside, QiGong, and Tai Chi. And you've done an excellent job with just a few tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
Glad to see that. But now what we're going to be studying is not on the YouTube channel.
So on the Beachside QiGong YouTube channel, what would someone want to look for if they'd want to learn it on their own?
So that first part that we've been doing so far, you would look for Tai Chi for Arthritis 1 or TCA 1. Those are all of the videos for the very simplified first portion of this Sun style Tai Chi form. In fact, because you're advancing in your lesson, let's give you a little bit of history about this form of Tai Chi. It happens that I brought the work of the master of this form. So this is a book by Master Sun Lutang, who was born in 1861 and died in 1933. He was a Qigong master and energy working master who started to realize he needed to bring more movement into his energy practice. And he created a style of Tai Chi based on previous styles of Tai Chi that activates energy more than focusing on the physical martial art aspects of Tai Chi. So it's nice to know the history of what we're learning, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. So you've learned the first half of this simplified Tai Chi form, which is Tai Chi for Arthritis 1. And do you have to have arthritis to benefit from it? No, that's just the name to designate what it is. Now we're going to start the more advanced second half.
Woohoo!
You know it. It's time. So the very first movement in the second half, you already know. It's brush knee to the right. And you know that from the first half of the form. So we're just going to flow through it a few times and then bring in the leisurely Tai Coat, which is a very exciting move. But to make sure that everyone can see us, I want you to come over this way a little bit because we're going to be turning to our right. Yeah, and they might not be able to see us. So once we've completed the first half of this simplified Sun style Tai Chi, we're in this kind of posture. The hands are in front of middle dantian because this heart energy is so important these days to be activated so we're not living in fear. We connect with that by breathing in, expanding our hands a little, and then breathing out and condensing. And then for brush knee right, we shift the weight to the right foot, we turn our left toes in, we shift the weight to the left foot and let our hands lower. We look to the right. We step out to the right in front a little in a right bow stance. And as we turn to the right, our right hand brushes over the knee. The left hand throws up high. The left foot comes in. And you already know this move, right?
Yes.
All right, step forward a little so you don't run into the wall. Let's go over it just a few times since you already know it to give you that transition into the part 2 of this form.
I'm just going to turn that a smidge.
Okay. Technical adjustment. So, we begin part 2 of TCA. Right here, breathing in, opening, breathing out, closing. Brush knee right, stand on the right foot, turn in the left toes. Stand on the left foot, let the hands lower to the hip. Look to the right, step forward in a right bow stance, heel floats down, the whole foot rolls flat. We brush over the right knee, the left hand throws up high. You have lost some of your connection over here on this screen. If you need to adjust that.
It's back.
It's back. Okay, let's do that one more time because you already know it. So starting here, then we'll continue on in the rather complex leisurely tie coat. So we breathe in, expanding heart's energy, exhale, condense it so it's more potent. Brush knee right, stand on right, turn in left toes. Stand on left foot, hands lower, look out to the right, step into a right bow stance, brush over the right knee, left hand throws up high, step in. Now, in leisurely tie coat, raise your right hand like you're drawing a gun and take it over your left hand while you step back with your left foot. Bring your weight to your back foot and lower your hands. Draw in your hands and your right foot so the hands are at the belly, and then raise the hands to the chest, stepping forward. Shift weight forward, extend the hands, step into it. Step back, raise the right toes. Now turn the waist to your right, only as far as you can go. Right fingers turn up as we turn to our left. The hands come across the chest. We center again, facing the right wall. We step towards it, and we extend our hands in a little push. All of that is the movement known as leisurely tie coat. It's a rather complex movement, but it's a really fun, beautiful, soft, flowing, graceful movement. Let's turn this way and do it so they can see us more in this camera. So we're just going to go over the whole thing a few times. Come closer to me for this camera.
Okay.
All right, so after part 1, we're here, and we make sure to activate our heart's chi by breathing in, expanding that energy, breathing out, condense. Brush knee right, stand on right foot, turn in the left toes. Stand on the left foot, lower the hands. Look to the right, step out in a right bow stance. Right hand brushes over the knee, left hand throws up high. Right hand comes behind the hip like drawing a gun over the left hand. Left foot steps back. Left hand touches behind the thumb, and we lower the hands and bring our weight to the back foot. The right palm turns up as it comes into the belly, right foot comes in. Right foot steps out, hands to middle dantian at chest. Shift weight with a little chop to the throat. Step back, raise the right toes. Turn the waist to circle to the right. The right fingers point up as we turn the waist to the left. Now left hand supports behind the thumb as we face the right wall and step into that little push. Yes. There are a lot of parts to this movement, as you can see. So some people find it easier to learn by counting the steps. So first I'm going to get you to go through it a few times and feel the motion, and then I'm going to show you how it's used as a martial art. So you can really experience the power behind these soft flowing movements. So let's just come into our right bow stance, brush knee right. And now for leisurely tie coat, there's 8 different moves. Got to get in all the cameras here. So in the first move, step 1, the right hand draws a gun, the left foot steps back. In step 2, we bring our weight back and lower the hands. Step 3, hands and foot come in together. Step 4, we step out, hands rise to chest. In 5, we extend the hands and step forward. 6, we step back, raise the right toe. 7 is our huge circle, first to the right, and then to the left with the right fingers pointing up at the chest. We're squared to our right wall. In our 8th and final step, we step forward and we give a supported push. And that's the end of leisurely Tai Coat, towards the right. In Sun style Tai Chi, this is the only form of Tai Chi that has this leisurely Tai Coat move in it. And if you ever see someone doing it when practicing Tai Chi, you'll know they're doing a form of Sun style Tai Chi, which is kind of cool to know. So let's do it again. After our brush knee to the right, step, yes, adjust. Step 1, hand up, foot back. Step 2, lower hands and weight. 3, hands and foot come in. 4, step out, hands rise. 5, shift weight, extend the hands. 6, step back, raise the right toes. 7 is our big circle like a waiter. And then the hand flips up as it comes across the chest. It's square at the heart. For number 8, the final part of leisurely Tai Coat, which is a little push. The whole thing should be one smooth flowing movement. So let's do it again, because that is really the only way to learn it. We step out in our right bow stance for our brush knee right. 1, hand up, foot back. 2, lower weight and hands. 3, bring in hands and foot. 4, step out, hands rise. 5, shift weight, extend the hands. 6, step back, raise the right foot. 7, and there's our big circle, only as far as the waist can take us, where we square up for number 8. We step into that supported push. So I'm going to get close to the camera and show what our hands are doing. So once we've drawn the gun, the left hand touches behind the right thumb, and then the hands come down. As that right palm turns, the left hand slides over to the pinky side on the wrist. So we're supporting the wrist when the hand comes up. We're supporting at the pinky. We keep the thumb and forefinger open as we step into that little chop, because this is chopping someone's throat, and we support behind the wrist there. Then we have our circle, the fingers point up, and now the left hand supports behind the thumb when we give our push so that we don't hurt our ankle.
Fingers open.
Fingers open and relaxed, yeah. So you can see all the detail of that, right? How the hand slides and turns. It's rather complex. It will probably take you quite a bit of practice to get it.
So you said so we don't hurt our ankle. You mean
Your wrist.
That's
I meant wrist.
That's what I thought. It's the ankle of the arm.
It's true. Hand and feet are tied together. So let's put it together again from our brush knee to the right. We maintain our balance.
No, I'm adjusting camera.
And then leisurely Tai Coat. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. 4. 5. 6. 7 is the big circle. Hand comes across the chest. Squares at the heart as we face the right wall for 8, where we step into a supported push.
That is so beautiful, yet I can feel the chi generating.
Yes.
And then even just what makes it beautiful to me is how it stays your hands stay connected through the whole thing. So it looks almost like butterfly-ish, so beautiful, but yet we're basically striking
it looks very soft and beautiful and graceful and flowing. And this butterfly effect you talk about, where the hands are touching each other, it's actually to choke someone. And we're going to do it a couple more times for the flow for you to remember, and then I'm going to show you how it works and what that name leisurely tight coat means and why it's called that. But let's go through it 3 more times.
Okay.
So from our right bow stance, brush knee, half step in. Leisurely tie coat, right hand up, left foot back. Lower the hands and bring the weight back. Draw in the hands in the right foot at lower dantian. They rise to middle dantian as we step. We extend the hands as we step into it. We step back, raise the right toes. Turn your waist only as far as it'll go comfortably. Then the fingers turn up. Left hand comes to support behind the thumb at the chest. We step into that little push. Again, from brush knee right, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, 7 is our big flowing circle coming from the waist to activate that energy at the lower dantian and send it out in our push. So you feel the activation of chi, as you mentioned, because of all this movement. And that's why I wanted to bring in the circling as the warm-up, because it's the same activation of energy at lower dantian. One more time. This time it's a little bit of a test. Switch sides with me. Ha ha ha. And I'm not going to say it.
Oh no!
I'll start you off. I'll be a little in front of you.
Okay,
you can see what I'm
still
doing.
trying to get the timing of the step.
I know, but the best way to learn is to keep challenging your memory.
I'm there.
So here, from our open and closed position, we step into brush knee right. And leisurely tie coat to the right. Palm is up. Good. Turn the waist. Very good. Some of the details are a little bit off, but once you understand how it's used as a martial art, the details will flow naturally.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask one question?
Please.
I keep going palm down at this point. Does it flip? Where does it flip?
So, we've brought the hand out.
It's tapped.
The palm is away from us. As it comes into the body, it turns palm up.
Okay.
From an energetic standpoint, we are drawing the energy to the lower dantian, raising it up to the middle dantian, and then extending it outward through the hand.
Got it.
Then we actually generate more energy in a circle, because energy moves in circles and spirals and arcs, not straight lines. So we generate more chi force energy to bring into a little shove. So let's go over how this is used. Many people have asked, why is this called leisurely tie coat? It doesn't look anything like tying a coat. But if you consider the history at the time in which this movement was created, at that time, masters of chi force energy, martial art masters of chi force, they were wearing very long robes as part of their normal everyday outfit. robes that came down to about here. And it would be considered highly offensive and disrespectful if you went to go fight someone and they were not aware that you had a weapon. So the first part of our movement is to display that you have a weapon on your hip. We do that from our brush knee, you can see from the side, by pulling a coat, hooking it over the weapon so it is obvious you have it. If they still want to fight you, Padawan, you grab them by the coat collar. You step back and you pull them down. You turn your hand and it twists the coat collar as you pull them in. If you actually had one, it would choke your throat. Can't see us over here. It would choke your throat as I twist my hand, that connection of your coat lapel on the back of my wrist and hand. So I make it tight, I throw you off balance. I twist it and pull you in, so now you have this noose, and I've got you by the throat, and now I step forward and I chop into the throat by pushing that power and energy up and forward. And now step a little forward. If I were to have you here by the throat, you're basically about to pass out. I've been choking you with your own coat. You can't breathe. So I just use my waist and turn and throw you away behind me. And then, oh, look, the way is clear. Oh, one of his friends, those bullies, came to get me. So we step into a little push. It has a completely different feel when you understand how it's used as a martial art. And you felt the power of the chi force energy moving without even knowing how that was used as a martial art. Once you understand how it's used, you begin to draw more of that chi force power into the movement. And it makes it a very powerful martial art defense move, but hidden in the soft, subtle grace and beauty of a flowing movement. That if someone saw, they would never think that you could choke someone and strangle them that way, but you can.
I think that's so cool.
This is part of the yin and yang aspect of Tai Chi. The softness of it belies its very strength and power that comes from you, from within you, and how you move in alignment basically with the laws of physics. Let's go over it again. So when we begin, no, we're going to practice it.
Oh, we're not. Are you not beating me up again?
I'm not going to do it again.
It's hard.
No. I know.
It's fun.
When we practice alone, Padawan, we will practice the move and how to use it. But here, we don't have quite enough room to throw you over my shoulder. You'd fall right into the bookcase. But because you're learning the second half, where does it begin? Open and close, right? It begins here with a breath in to expand the heart's energy, breath out to condense it, and then brush knee right. Stand on the right foot, turn in the left toes. Stand on the left foot, then step out in a right bow stance, brush over the right knee, left hand strikes. Leisurely Tai coat, right hand up, left foot back. So we showed our weapon. They want to fight, we grab them. We bring our weight back and lower our hands. And just that throws someone down to the ground and pulls them forward as we turn the palm up, tying the coat around the neck. We step forward, now we're choking them, and now we give a little support. You mentioned that. We're supporting here because we're putting pressure into that throat. So there's even more power. We keep that throat hanging as we step back, and then we use our powerful waist and core to turn and throw that energy away. Once that's done, we flip up the right hand. We survey the scene. Does that bully have any friends? Not that way. Oh, but look, one of his bully friends is coming from this way, so we give a little shove and supported push. It's a little bit different when you know what it is and how to use it. I could see your movements were much more detailed, much more precise in the way that they're supposed to be done. Ideally, we understand the ways of the Qi force to the point that we never have to use this as a martial art. So we don't really go over it again and again in that regard, other than to remind ourselves so that we keep the precision in our movement and the idea that there is some resistance. We're not just pushing the plain air. If we can imagine that there's someone there that we're chopping, that we're pulling down, right? This is actually connects us with energy more, and has been shown in studies to actually make you stronger without ever lifting any weights. Using the force makes you stronger. Let's do it one more time from the beginning of part 2 so that you have a thorough lesson. So after part 1 of TCA, we're here. Part 2 begins with the breath. Open, close. Brush knee right. And leisurely tie coat. Right hand up, left foot back. Lower hands and weight. Bring in right foot and right palm turns up. It rises to the chest as we step. We step into that chop to the throat. We step back with the hands extended, raise the right toes, turn the waist to the right. Now right fingers point up as we turn back to the left. We square up towards our right wall with hips and shoulders and step into that supported push. And from there, just lower the hands. Do you think you can remember the leisurely tie coat?
I will need to practice a few more times.
Yes, it is a complex move. It does take quite a bit of practice to feel comfortable and secure with it. So I'll leave you to practice that on your own until our next session. Do you have any questions before we close?
For now, breathing, just making sure I am breathing during it. I know that when there is a push, it's an exhale.
Very perceptive, yes. Anytime we breathe in, we're drawing Qi force energy into us. So when we're going to extend ourselves to send energy out, whether it's with a punch or a chop, the exhale adds more energy into that physical movement. That's quite perceptive that you picked that up.
And something dawned on me when you were talking about that when we're practicing, we're not thinking of it as a martial arts, except for as an energy push, pull, and generator. But I was thinking that if we practice and we're getting stronger and we're building Qi, that then people aren't going to want to fight us because we're already going to present with strength and power and balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is more self-defense in maintaining your own inner strength and power than in actually learning how to fight someone. Because you know, the bullies, they prey on the weak.
Yes.
Those who look like they can be taken advantage of. Those who have low Qi force energy. And typically, they don't stand upright. They don't have their chests open. They're not breathing with their head up. They're more like this. You know, victim, Right.
Well, and they're guarding their
Guard,
chi.
exactly.
They're
Guarding,
their chi.
scared,
Yeah.
fearful, yes, withdrawn in. But when you're confident, you know that you won't be hurt. You can stand open, and people feel that confidence and chi exude from you. And the bullies don't want to prey on someone who's strong and confident. They want to prey on the weak and fearful. Just like viruses do. Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you for asking. Yes, we have been joined by Space Kitty Ginger in the studio. Oh, coming into view, Space Kitty Ginger. Yes.
He's the master of chi.
It's true. He's here to anchor us
Kitty
with all
chi.
that high-flying chi. So let's go ahead and close our lesson. You did great picking that up so quick. I like to close the same way every time by thanking the mind-body for all it gives us. Thank you so much, core of the body, our energy center here, the lower dantian, and all of our organs working well today. Thank you so much, front of legs, as we follow that yin energy down the front of the legs all the way to the toes. Thank you, toes. And then up the back side, connecting with the yang energy that's rising. And then down the outside. Thank you, legs, for being strong, balanced, and capable. Up the inside. I love every part of my beautiful legs. And then bring it around to your low back. If your low back gets stiff in your practice, it's good to massage it a little. And while you do, think about how good it is to have this low back that works so well. I love you, back. From the bottom all the way to the top, drawing that yang energy up, this very yang meridian up the back of the neck, over the head. Now, we're not going to touch the face. We're just going to come down to the ears. Thank you, brain. And bring that energy down to the ears and then lightly massage the ears all the way around, touching all of the points of the body this way in reflexology as well as acupuncture. Thank you, ears, for being a mirror of my whole being. And then thank your throat, especially mine, talking our entire session. Thank you, tongue, that you swallow so well. Thank your arms and all the energy flowing down the palm side, over the fingertips and up the backside, following the pattern of how energy flows in the body. Down the palm side of that other strong, beautiful, capable hand, up the backside. Thank you, arm, for being with me and letting my chi flow from my heart out into the world. Thank you, heart, for staying open in a world that's challenging us to become more fearful every day. It will not happen if your chi force is strong. You can remain balanced and in harmony. Thank you so much, body, for working well. Thank you for coming to join us today in this session. And thank you, excellent Padawan, for your perception and your questions.
Thank you for teaching me.
Look forward to our next session next Wednesday.
1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
See you there.
Bye.
May the Chi Force be with you always.